Hello there, Mike the MC, bringing you the self-care video. Just gonna go home now. Just gonna get things ready for just for tomorrow. But honestly, this was a good day. Just get in the car, ready to go. Also for the video, yeah, I probably should have done this a step before, but hey, there's always a step preparation phase, right? So why not get things ready to go? All right, so we're all ready to go. Let's get out of here. I'm tired. But I hope everyone is having a good day today. It's pretty busy today. It was my last day with my supervisor. I'm gonna have the next 4 weeks with my second, but I'm just very grateful for the opportunity that I learned from the first one, and I learned so much. So shout out to you, thank you. And I think just thinking about the lessons that I've learned from this the first time with the supervisor, just the great skills of being patient, kind, learning, right? This is promotion, right? But the idea here is, other than just promoting good things, it's learning from the situations, learning how I can really make myself a better person, talk my way out of situations, but not necessarily know what I'm talking about, how to be competent, how a client can trust me because I know what I'm saying is true. And when I reach that level of maturity, of trustfulness, it's very rewarding because I know at this point that I am growing, becoming my own person, my own man, and really just thinking, wow, I'm doing good. I'm really taking care of business. Feels great. Just taking care of what has to be done and making sure that other people are getting the services they need, that no one is suffering, right? That everything is on track for people who need help. And really, that makes me feel good as a future social worker supervisor, because the thing is, I don't want people to feel like they're not neglected and are always welcome to come to my office. But then someone from one of my classes yesterday brought up a very good point when we had a discussion. Is it better for the provider to come to the house or stay at the office, so that way the client comes to your office needing the services? And we were talking, and I brought that up too, in the sense that, hey, I thought it was great when the provider came to the house to help you. But my teammate said, also keep in mind though, that with each person, it's from a person-centered approach. We all have a different preference, a different need. And so not everyone wants that provider to come to the house and provide a health service, because maybe there's closure, protection, all this other factors where the person wants to feel safe. And that's understandable. You want your client to feel safe and to keep that trust and to make sure that they're not signing too much for what they agreed to with the confidentiality. And the thing is also, when working with clients, when you gain trust, you want to make sure that that trust is also building them up for the future. We all know this, but the idea here is that you yourself are building yourself for the future too. Because there is this balance of, okay, if I'm going to help other people, I need to make sure that I'm growing in my trust in my own abilities, the trust that I have of my skill, that I can really provide when I know I have an idea and I can follow through with the solution with given reasons and provide a good diagnosis, however you like to pronounce it, and making sure that whatever I'm saying is true. So that way it's with relation to their strengths and weaknesses and abilities, and making sure that, hey, they're not doing more than 10 things or whatever in one sitting with me, because I want to make sure that they are getting the adequate service, but also within their means, doing what is attainable in the moment, so that way they're not overdoing things. And I think that just goes to show that people have, as a counselor, you have to be respectful of what people need in the moment, and making sure that you're not overdoing your services as well. Because how many times have we run into a provider who asked us to do more than what we needed in the moment, and we felt so overwhelmed, so confused even, wondering, what is it you want me to do today? You're confusing me. Why are we doing this? I mean, I am so confused. And you think, okay, that provider may be smart in the head, but they're not good with their common sense. They know little of that. And they cannot share anything to save your life because they're only thinking about the theoretical stuff. And then that's not to put a blame on every provider, but the fact of the matter is, a provider that is effective, in my definition, is one who has to help clients show them the ways for them to make the solutions credible. You want to show them some solutions and skills, of course, but you want to make sure that they are learning how to create those skills in their own lives as well. The client is starting to think on their own, starting to think outside the box, finding solutions that are relatable to who they are. And when you have a client that's able to think outside the box, being able to protect themselves with what they have and who they're taking care of even, right? I mean, shoot, many of the clients I help are taking care of kids, homes. Some of them don't even have a house sometimes, right? They're homeless, and that's just real. That's reality. And so if you want to make sure that your clients are getting the adequate service, just keep in mind all these factors that you're trying to help somebody with in a situation, no matter what industry you're in, whether you are considering to do engineering or other professions that I'm aware of, right? You want to make sure that you are thinking of the people that you're protecting, making sure that they're safe. So that way, not only are they safe, but your reputation, your agency is safe, because you want to make sure all your calculations, everything is met and is up to par, so that way no one is left in the dark and everyone's not in trouble when a bad situation occurs with the design, whatever, etc. And yeah, be in the clear. You don't want to be caught in the, no one wants to be caught in the dark just with the disaster on hand. And so the theme of this video really is to consider, as far as what I'm trying to share with you all, as far as what I've learned from my internship, how can providers trust in themselves to where you know that your solution is valid, but you trust that what you're sharing with somebody will help them build trust in their own right. That trust goes a long way for everyone to be a success. I provide you the tools to be a success today, but what are you going to do with those tools tomorrow? Are you going to become evil? Good? Are you going to be at the same level where you're at? Right? Was I not effective today? See, the effectiveness of a provider has to be willing, connecting it with what I was saying earlier, is going to your clients as a provider, making sure that you even extend services through the media, through a Zoom, through telehealth, etc. Because that's my profession, right? Making sure that I can provide services through different means, so that way you're okay. Be confidential, of course, be credible, right? You don't want to do illegal things. You want to make sure everything is within reason, of course, that it's legal, so that way everyone is safe. Your agency too, on the process, but you also want to make sure that when you are doing your service, that you yourself are credible, and people can trust you and say, okay, that's a good counselor. He's making the time for me. He's got a busy schedule, but he made the time for me to work with right now. I like this guy, this lady, because they're really thinking about how my needs are really important, but then they're considering their schedule to match mine. That's a credible provider. I can trust that because I recognize they're a person in demand, a person that's not seeking attention for the services. They're honestly someone that is really competent with their skills, and I can trust that counselor, that provider, because they're good at what they do. And we want to turn to that person because we know people share and gossip that that's a good provider. So that's where gossiping can promote your work as well. It can promote what you're selling, because people can share just as quickly, probably even faster, before you can even reach other clients in a sales pitch or whatever, because people are doing the work for you. And that is a beautiful thing when you get the referrals of people who want to talk with you, who want your services. That is a beautiful place to be, where you're doing not as much work and the others are doing it for you. That is where you want to be as a business and as an individual. And so trust in yourself, and that reflects back to those referrals, because people realize, wow, this person's confident. I recognize that they're growing. They're really good at what they do. And I'm glad I took that referral by that friend. Now I will share that with another friend. And it just keeps passing on that service through the referrals. So now your agency, your reputation are growing. You're getting more clients, more business. And now maybe you can expand, hire some more help, hire some more people to help you at this agency. You need someone at the front desk, someone to take calls, maybe someone to handle appointments, someone to work with other parts of the services. Have more counselors, right? Have more people to help you at the agency, so that way you're doing more for the community. And the more you grow, the more your agency grows in the process, and you're able to handle more workloads as well. That's the other key. Finding that balance with clients, making sure that you are handling as many as you can, but making sure you know how to handle and hand off the football, the reins, when you know you have to. Because if you want to be Superman, if you want to be super lady, superwoman, you're going to recognize real fast that your competence will be pushed to the max if you recognize that you can't handle the workload, and now people are not going to trust you anymore, and you can't trust yourself because you recognize, wow, I'm doing way too much than I need to. I'm doing way too much, and now I can't handle everything that's happening my way. I can't handle the workload. I am breaking down. I'm starting to self-destruct. This is what we call burnout in social work, and why you need self-care to help you out. Now, people will have different definitions of self-care. They'll say, well, what is self-care? Is it really just you taking a break? Is it you really just buying something for yourself? Are you trying to put a new relationship in your life? What is self-care? And for me, my definition is this. You are gaining your energy back for the things you put into, because you want your energy to serve others. So you want to regain your energy. And you can think of this, now that my definition's over, with this idea of entropy. Entropy is where you're putting all that work into some place. Everything is cluttering in your life, your agency, etc. And if that energy is now becoming toxic, wasteful, you recognize, wow, I made way too many appointments. Wow, I am so burnt out. I handled all these clients back to back to back to back. I am so burnt out. I don't have anything left for me to be happy, to be with my family, etc., etc. Now I'm so burnt out, I can't be happy. And that is what we call in the burnout the need for self-care. The need to take care of yourself. Like, you just got to take a break, for example. Take a water break. Making sure that your voice is clear, your throat is okay. Making sure you're not speaking way too much, and taking a break when you give a presentation and talking in front of a crowd. And that's the wonderful thing about teaching groups with other people. You recognize, wow, I have an ability. I can now translate that skill in group to individuals. See, people think individual work is great for working with groups, but I would argue if you can work with groups to the individual, that's just as effective. In fact, even, it's probably more effective because you recognize that, hey, you can handle your position in the conversation very well when you're working with so many 10, 20 different people at once. And you're saying, hey, I can work with this one person in the moment. I can now handle a conversation because I know I can handle so many different arguments at one time, handle conversations and keep them going. I can keep up a conversation, and that is a skill. See, even in this skill, this operation, I'm doing a YouTube video in the moment. The fact that I am practicing talking while driving, it's building the skill of being a multitasker, keeping your eye on the road, sharing my thoughts through the screen. But see, I'm building trust through this exercise, trust in myself that I can deliver a message to you on the other side of that screen. Maybe you'll take this message to heart, maybe you won't. But the point is, you can do activities that help you gain trust in yourself. You build a tolerance for things. You recognize, okay, I can tolerate doing a certain amount of work for this time. I recognize I can tolerate so many different drinks at a party. For example, in real life terms, I can handle so many different pizzas, slices of food at a party even. I don't have to be a glutton. And I have found the balance. I have found the balance to live a healthy life. And now it's because I have pushed myself through different activities that I know I can gain that trust in myself. That's the key. And as I've learned from other entrepreneurs through different videos on YouTube, etc., different channels, the fact is, skills can build on skills. But the thing is that subliminal is that trust. Now I can trust myself to do and handle many things at once. I can handle to drive a passenger safely in this car if I had to while giving a video, right? I can handle delivering some cargo to a destination because I know I can talk with you on the spot while driving. See, all about skills, all about letting the skills work for you, but work for themselves, to compound those skills and to compound that trust, to recognize that, hey, I can handle things. Now, don't get overconfident. See, how do you recognize when you're overconfident, putting way too much stock into your abilities, to you realize, wow, I'm burning out? Kind of alluded to the answer already earlier, and so it goes back to a word of tolerance. I can tolerate so many things at once. Now I can't. I'm burning out. I am flaking. I am starting to miss appointments. I'm starting to miss meetings with clients. I'm failing to meet the demands of the people I'm working with. That That's a big clue. That's a big red flag if you recognize you're at that level. So you got to learn to step back, take a breath, and say, wow, all right, I can write down these things that I can do, put them on a piece of paper, and now I can handle this, but not this if I run into this situation. Write these down on a piece of paper and notice where you are strong and weak when the workload tries to twist you up in different ways. And that is where you become a very powerful businessman, business lady. You're taking control, command of yourself, your agency, whatever services you're providing, and your clients can now trust you because you yourself are taking care of you. That is self-care. That is trust. That is tolerance. Those are all the positives that you want in your life. And you recognize, hey, even when I'm driving now that things are going slower on the road, I can adjust my speed. I don't have to go 90 miles per hour when I know I can hit a car in front of me that's going 65, right? 60 really. But the point is, I can adjust my speed. I can see the traffic. I can see that if I am to go full throttle, I'm going to make a wreck. And that's not good for anybody. We want to get home safe and sound. Workload is very important to understand as a boss with your employees. If your employees are doing way too much and you recognize that the road that became crowded is now even more crowded and you're now driving on it, yeah, way to go, Mr. Boss, CEO. You have to learn to delegate the workload with your clients, with your employees most importantly, so that way they're not feeling the burnout and that they can work with the schedule that is demanding of them in the moment. And you yourself have to be a good boss to recognize, hey, I can take some of the workload for you. Let's see where this takes us. Let me try to help you out today. And people will say, oh, well, that's being too courteous, that's too kind, you should delegate and hand it to some people. But just saying, some bosses that are effective, they know the work. They can talk the talk because they can walk the walk. They know what the job demands them of. They know how to cook a pizza. They know how to make a recipe. I love cooking shows, that's why I reference that. But the thing is, if they know how to build a creation, teach it for somebody, and then delegate that task in a very different level of thinking. You can think of different levels, for example. The person who's cooking the pizza, the person who's delivering the pizza, the person who's taking in the order, bringing it to the people in the back. That boss is aware of the steps. And when you can delegate the steps appropriately to the right people, the jobs to handle all those steps, you're effective. You're an effective CEO. You're an effective boss because you can now work with your employees to where the whole system is effective. Nothing is clogged. Nothing is broken down. And that goes back to what I was saying and alluded to earlier with services as a social worker. You don't want your clients to be bogged down behind in the system if they're needing services. You want to provide adequate services to where they're getting the help they need on the spot to make sure that they're not left in the dark. But you only know that as a boss when you learn through the stages of being an employee, through the stages of the lower steps that make up the whole. And that is where you become an effective leader, knowing how the steps really add to the whole product. And you can make sure that everyone is okay and not overburdened. And that is a beautiful philosophical teaching I can share with you as far as the parts adding up to the whole. And when that takes place, everyone is okay and everyone can feel like the boss is actually someone they can trust because the boss trusts themselves to handle the workload and to delegate that with everybody. Having meetings, making sure that everyone's okay, having discussions so that everyone that has a concern talks with you when they need to. Making sure that everyone can voice an opinion or a complaint because they know that you can adjust this right now if necessary. And let's change the word of complaint to effective communication. See, what people perceive as a negative can be a positive. You know how to be assertive. You know how to assert the problem in an effective manner to where, hey, professor, teach, this ain't working for me because I don't recognize what is the point of this lesson that we're working on. What are we trying to do? You're throwing all these steps in the way, Mr. Mike the MC. You're throwing these videos out. What is the point of the video? There's too much to remember. There's too much. You're boring me with the video. And the point of the video is this: to delegate by knowing your tolerance. Know your tolerance, know the steps as a boss, and then delegate accordingly. And you will then gain trust in yourself as a boss because now you know what it takes to be a success, and share the workload with other employees so that they're not being burnt out. That is the message of the video. That is the message for you to take with you moving forward now, so that you don't feel the burnout and that you can trust yourself to say no. Say no to yourself. That is hard to do, but say no to yourself to where you don't need to take on 20 extra clients to where you know it's just going to put you over the top, and now you are just burnt out and now you can't do anything. You're effective for nobody. You're not effective at all because you took way too many bites, too many steaks at the dinner table. Yeah, you can save them for later, but if you were to have them right there on the spot, you'd burn out. You crash and burn. It's just not worth it. So know your tolerance. Have that tolerance then to apply in different areas. Trust yourself. Share with employees. Share the tasks that have to be done. Tolerance, trust, and tasks. Those three work together. Tolerance, trust, and tasks. The 3 T's. There, I'll put it to you like that. Maybe I'll write a book about that in the future. But if I were to write a book or a chapter on those 3, they go hand in hand together in the chapter. And that is how I can feel confident writing a book in the future, because I know how by talking in this manner to a video on the screen while driving, I can write a book. It's much safer, and I can sell that now. Way to go. I recognize that my tasks, the work that I'm doing, can compound the skills to other areas that'll make money and make me more effective in different ways. So remember that. Skills that you recognize that can be translated to different areas for other skills can make you profitable. So keep that in mind. Alright everyone, I hope this video finds you well. So if you are going to make videos or whatever, make a journal, recognize that you can turn that into a book and make a profit for yourself as one example. Know your tolerance, know the tasks, and know what it takes to trust in yourself from learning the tolerance of the tasks and seeing how others trust you through all of that effectiveness. Do that work in communication with you. Give it a shot. Give it a shot. Talking with you. See, tolerance, task, trust, and talk. There you go. The four T's now. This is gonna get growing. But you know what I'm talking about. All right, everyone. Hope this video finds you well. Be strong out there. Take care. Have a good one.